everyone. Welcome to Lost in the Sauce. We're your hosts, Maeve
and Maddie.
And like most college students, we're just trying to figure out life one confusing moment at a time. Each week, we'll sit down with real students to talk about the pressure, uncertainty, and those what am I doing with my life moments, because none of us really have it all together.
Today, we're talking with Sabrina, a biomedical sciences major who transferred her sophomore year. She's sharing what it was like making a big change mid-college, adjust to a new environment, and discover what truly motivates her. We'll be diving into how she navigated uncertainty, found her footing after transferring, and what she's learned about trusting her own path. So, Sabrina, do you want to introduce yourself?
Hi, everyone. I'm Sabrina. I'm a BMS major. I went to school in Maine at University of New England, and then I transferred here to Quinnipiac last year, my sophomore year in the fall.
When you hear the phrase lost in the sauce, what does it mean to you?
I feel like it just kind of means like you get caught up in what you're doing, and then you kind of like have to stop and take a step back. And I feel like that's something that happens frequently in college. But especially as a young adult, like we're all constantly comparing ourselves. So I think that's something that definitely happens to everyone.
I'm sure you felt lost in that journey, but have you ever felt lost in general during college, whether it be academically, socially, or personally?
Pre-med designation as well. So I think constantly with a lot of pre-meds, there's just like that, am I good enough? And just comparing and like, should I do something else? Because it is a big commitment. So I feel like honestly, multiple times a year, I definitely ask myself that and go back to it and reassess like what I'm doing with my life.
What pressures do you feel most as a pre-med student right now?
I would say preparing for my MCAT, getting clinical hours, volunteer hours, kind of just trying to check everything off the list while also still being a friend, a family member, and kind of like being present in your own life while also like trying to make sure you're a good candidate because everything kind of rests on that, but also having your own persona and your own life and activities.
Yeah, for
How
sure.
does that, I don't know much about the pre-med process. Like, do you want to talk about how that looks?
Yeah, like what the MCAT is.
Yeah, so you have all the courses that are required in the pre-med, which is almost the same as the BMS course schedule, but there's like a few extra courses in there. And then you also need volunteer hours, clinical hours, and shadowing hours. There's really not like a specific number. Honestly, the more the better. And depending on the school you go to, there could be minimums, but usually like 100 of each. And then if you can get more, that looks definitely way better. And then the MCAT is the standardized test that you take to get into medical school along with like your applications. And that is usually taken in the spring. If you're not taking a gap year, then you take it the spring of your junior year. So I've decided to take a gap year and take it the spring of my senior year. But usually that requires a couple months of preparation. So you order the books and materials and stuff, and then you study. It kind of incorporates literally all the subjects you've learned from your freshman year of college to probably like your junior year. And then applications are in usually June, and kind of like the whole process takes about a year along with like interviews and second calls for applications. So it is a very extensive process, which I think also is difficult if you don't know anyone and like trying to find guidance and doing all that.
Have you always known that you want to do pre-med?
Yeah, probably since like my 8th grade year in middle school, this has been something that I wanted to do. But obviously throughout the way, it's like everyone tells you like, oh, it's a lot of school, it's a long time. So you try and like find other things. But I think the easiest way is just like if you can't picture yourself doing anything else, it will be worth it. There are other health professions that are very similar and it's not as long of a track, but like if you can't put yourself in those shoes and do something else, then like I think it is very worth it.
Yeah, I feel like Maddie and I were talking about this in another episode, but honestly I feel like when people think of going for a doctor program or like any medical program, it's like, yeah, it's at least 8 years, but honestly, like if you think about 8 years from high school, you're really still like young. People graduate with their undergrad degree and then they change, and then it ends up being like an 8-year process. So,
yeah, no, seriously.
I think it's kind of cool that like you have your mind set on something.
What advice would you give to another student who's feeling lost in the sauce?
You hear this all the time that like everyone is on their own journey. There is not one correct pre-med track. There's not one correct track for anything. Mm-hmm. But I think pre-med is like because it's so like people think it's so cookie cutter and there's like a checklist. But like what schools want to see is that you are like an individual person. Like they want you to have those things, but plus so much more. Mm-hmm. So I think that's something that I was so hung up on. Like my freshman and sophomore year, I'm like, okay, how can I fulfill all these like check boxes? Yeah. And I didn't really like figure out who I was as a person and like my own character and what I really want to do. So I think it's just like you really need to get off social media because that definitely does not help. The TikToks, the Reddit threads, like everyone is like no, it's so bad. Like, everyone is a perfect candidate online.
Yeah.
So I think really, like, it's just, like, be present and, like, live your life day to day. Don't just focus on the future. I think that's something that I still struggle with. It's, like, you have to prepare all this stuff for the future, but, like, then you lose out on now if you don't.
Exactly. More into, like, the specifics of your transfer journey. What inspired your decision to transfer schools your sophomore year, and why did you land on Quinnipiac?
The school that I landed at in Maine is the University of New England. It was a cheaper option. I got, like, a lot of financial aid from there, so I ended up going there. And the campus was really beautiful. The students there, it was definitely, like, a very small school, like, felt very, like, high school, which as a pre-med student, I feel like you just need to connect with as many people possible. And it's very hard to do that at a school full of introverts, which it's okay to be introverted. Like, I have a lot of introverted friends, but it's really hard when people are, like, when you're in class and you cannot communicate with your peers.
And, like, have a conversation.
It's really difficult. And I did meet some, like, really good people, but majority of my classmates were just very quiet people, very reserved. As an outgoing person, it's hard to, like, crack someone who just doesn't want to have anything to do with you.
Yeah.
So I think I was just, like, pretty unhappy there. So I don't know. I just decided that I would look into transferring. And I actually visited Quinnipiac for a weekend in October to visit actually Maddie and another friend of mine from my hometown that went here. And I really loved it. And I think my biggest factors for transferring, quite frankly, were just, I didn't want to go to another school where I knew nobody.
Right.
Because I already thought it would be difficult as, like, a new student. Also, as a sophomore, everyone kind of has, like, their set friend groups and people aren't as open to, like, inviting people in. And I thought it would be nice to go somewhere where I knew somebody and then at least, like, I could make my own friends, but I have someone to show me around. Obviously, the biomedical sciences program here is really good, and the pre-med designation and everything, so that kind of also contributed. So I just thought I would apply to Quinnipiac, and I heard back, like, extremely fast. And I don't know, so then I just decided, like, it was kind of, like, very scary. I had to talk to a lot of my friends and a professor who was, like, a mentor of mine, and at the end of the day I was like, if I don't do this now, I'm not going to do it next year. I'm not going to do it next semester. And so then I just committed to Quinnipiac, and then
here you are. I know you said a lot of the people in your classes were introverted, but you did have a friend group back at UNE. Were some of them also on the similar path as you?
I had a friend of mine who also has, like, the exact same end goal as me through med school and, like, profession and everything, but none of my other friends. They were all different majors. It's tough because, like, there were, maybe I just didn't meet all the same people in the classes, but the class size also were super small. Yeah. Because there was probably about, like, 10 to 15 kids per class.
Oh, wow.
And the biggest lectures, maybe 25 at most. And then the dorms are definitely set up a little bit differently here. I also had the classic freshman year roommate horror story also. So she ended up transferring out after the first semester, transferring schools as well. But I know a lot of kids that do transfer. Some people really, like, they stick it out and they like it. But I just, like, didn't want to be, like, the rest of my 3 years, like, trying to make it through college, because it's already hard enough, like, trying to make it as a student, never mind, like, not having that social life and being miserable every day. I think it would just make it 10 times worse.
For sure. With a hard major too. Like,
definitely. Yeah.
And also Maine is really cold.
Yeah, Maine. Besides that, what was your hardest part about starting over in a new environment?
I think it's just that, like, I don't know, everyone already knows the layout of the campus. Everyone knows kind of how, like, I also had a totally different online platform. I did not use Blackboard in my old school. So that, I had a lot of problems registering for classes and also the transfer process. All my credits did transfer, but for a month that I was here,
it took a sec to get there. I remember being with you when that happened.
Before I went to school, when I got here, there was so much between register and everything. And I think that just kind of, like, already put me a step behind, and it stressed me out because I'm like, okay, new school, and then I already have that. And then I think it was kind of like figuring out where everything was and how the swing of things work, because there is, like, there's social cues here that I feel like you don't realize. Anywhere you go, there's just certain ways that you behave, certain do's and don'ts. And, like, I don't know, it was definitely tough, like, learning that, being someone new. Class-wise, like, people did have friends, but also being an outgoing person, it wasn't hard for me to kind of, like, insert myself here or there. I think the professor bonds are a little bit harder here also with the bigger class size, because I know I was close with a lot of my professors at my old school.
When transferring, did that change your perspective on what you wanted to do with your major? Did it like alter it at all? Or did you know like you still wanted to stick with biomed as you moved on to a different school?
I think when I applied here, it wasn't really like I didn't put into second thought about as my major, like applying here. But I think coming to Quinnipiac, definitely when I first came here in the fall and meeting the pre-med advisor, who is like very different than the pre-med advisor at UNE, it kind of like made me rethink. I had to do like another pre-med 101 course when I came here. And it was definitely like a little scary. And it's kind of just like, am I cut out for this? Should I switch my major? It's my sophomore year. If I wanted to do it, I would have to do it now.
Yeah.
But that was just something that like, it's kind of the same thing. Like, if I switch my major, like, I don't know. I don't think I could live with myself if I never saw it through.
Right.
So, like, a question of, like, undergrad or, like, medical school?
I think it would have been, like, because if I switched my major undergrad, it would be to not go to medical school.
Oh, okay.
But I would just put myself, like, in other shoes and try and explore every other option. And really nothing else has stuck like medical school has. And I think the more that I've been here, I definitely have learned a lot more about what medical school is and the track of medical school and how much, like, work I have cut out for me that I probably didn't realize my freshman year.
Yeah.
But I think it's just made me more resilient and definitely has been an eye-opener about how much, like, work I do need to put in.
Did you ever actually consider different majors? And if so, what were they?
I have a lot of nursing friends, so I thought about it, but no offense to all the nurses. I could not. I just don't think that I could be a nurse. And there's something about the grind of medical school that is so appealing. And I know, like, PA is also very similar, but specifically I wanted to be an oncologist. So with that, it's like you can get such specialized training through like medical school that you don't really get through nursing that you can eventually work up to. You have to go back and be an NP. And I have a family member who is also, she was on the pre-med track. She's now an NP and she loves it. But I don't know, for me, I just think like I don't know, I've spent so much time and like money and effort and I do believe that I can do it. So I just feel like I need to try at least. I don't know, like I think I will.
Yeah.
But I think, because everything is similar. Like if you do like PA, it is similar, but when you get down to the nitty gritty, like there are differences. And I think that's something that I definitely like researched to see what would be like the biggest difference. Yeah. So I never actually I thought about it and it crossed my mind, but it was never like a full consideration for me to switch. And obviously that never came about.
Do you remember like the first moment you were like, I think I'm going to transfer from uni?
The first week of school.
Perfect.
My first week of school, it was so much drama. Like, it was so silly. And I hated it. And I think it also was tough because I don't know if anyone can remember the first week of college. It is so hard.
I don't.
No.
I don't. I think we it's blacked out of how traumatizing it is.
It's just it's tough as it is. Like every single person, they just don't know anyone. And I think it was just worse the first week that I went through with some friends that I lost at orientation and stuff like that. So that made it tenfold. And then I met a group of friends my second week of school, which made it better. But the weeks went by and it was the friends and the group that I had was very good, but it was just the school itself. So I haven't regretted my decision to transfer at all. And also the fallback that my friends went here and I'd already been here and toured. I didn't have to go to another school.
Did you tour here before you came and visited?
I did not.
So that was your tour.
My tour was when I visited.
During Halloween.
And actually it was very brief because I didn't have my contacts in. Remember that? And
yes, I remember that.
So I didn't have my contacts in, so I could barely see. But we got acai bowls.
Yes.
That's a big seller here.
Shake Smart's a big seller here.
I feel that's pretty common though. I know a lot of people specifically, we're all from Massachusetts and a lot of people are oh, I don't want to go to UMass, for example. All my friends go there. But then it ends up being you don't like your small school or whatever that you go to. I have this nice it's good to go back to
your roots,
honestly.
I mean, UMass Amherst, that was in my initial applications. I did get in there, and that was where I was going to go until some last-minute decisions. But then I thought about reapplying there and going back, but the size of the school and trying to transfer into that, sea of whatever. My sophomore year, I was I don't know, I just knew that it would be an extra challenge on top of the already, challenging parts of transferring.
Yeah.
And I figured not only was Quinnipiac safe, but also like they do have a strong program for
Yes.
BMS. And I don't know, I just didn't want to make stuff harder for myself.
For sure. Yeah. Were there any moments that like you doubted your decision? Like you were like, I'm going to transfer, and then you're like, no, I'm not. I should just stay here. Do you have any of those moments?
So when I had a conversation with the professor that I had, he like very much stressed how like he wished that UNE had more like outgoing people, more leaders and stuff like that. And that's why he wanted me to stay. But to me, it was kind of like to do that. It maybe it's good for everyone else. And it's not to sound selfish, but like personally, the mental toll that would be to have to always be the person reaching out and other people just being, I understand how it's like beneficial for the other people and not to be like that. But sometimes you got to do stuff for you. Like, I don't know. And I think for me, leaving my group of friends also would be tough because now, like, I am in touch, like, distantly with them, but not as, definitely, like, not nearly as much as, like, I was when I was there. And so I think that was definitely tough, but also, like, friends, you go through friends, like, so quickly. I feel like it's, like, not like that, but, like, you make new friends, you lose friends, and I don't know, the ones that want to stick around will. So it was kind of just like, I have to do it for me and my mental health and the sake of like enjoying college, actually.
Yeah, no, for sure.
Is there any like big things you've learned about yourself since making the big change of transferring? I know it's obviously been like a year and almost a half since transferring.
Yeah.
I think it was more just like when I decided to transfer, it was kind of like my parents were pretty much against it. And I kind of took the matters into my own hand to apply to Quinnipiac, reach out to the transfer coordinator. I paid for the application and the money that you have to put down and everything. And I kind of just like helped me realize that I'm capable of making my own decisions and like we are adults and like I know everyone wasn't happy and obviously my parents are happy that I'm happy now.
Yeah.
But it was just something that like I had to make on my own and I had to decide on my own. And if I followed through, like I had to like live up to it and like, you know what I'm saying? So I feel like it just made me, I knew that I was capable, but it just kind of cemented the fact that like we are adults and sometimes you have to make decisions that are tough and other people may not like them, but like if it's best for you, like you have to do it. And I think it just made me realize like, and then even being here and making my own friends and like flourishing at Quinnipiac just proved to me that like, it really like, it doesn't matter the environment. Like I am like, I can flourish anywhere, but obviously like where you're more happy at makes it easier to do so. And it's kind of just like, you have the power to do that and change your life any way you want.
Yeah, for sure. That was pretty inspiring. If you could go back and talk to your freshman year self, what would you say to her?
Like before starting school or starting school?
You can do both.
Yeah, both.
Before starting school, I think I really did not want to go to UNE and I tried so hard to make myself like it. Like I remember trying to be so grateful. I wish I just would have followed the intuition and I would have just never went because I think I was just so scared. Like I just didn't want to it's so hard because you don't want to disappoint people like your parents and your family, people who have put money into it and time. And it's like, you don't want to disappoint anyone, but then you just make yourself unhappy. So I feel like it's like, I wish I would have just listened. Yeah. And then after starting school, I mean, honestly, like, I don't know, I think I did the right thing. Yeah. I wouldn't go back and not transfer. I would do it all over again. Yeah. So I don't know, like I wouldn't have given myself more time at UNE. Like I think I did the right thing and I don't regret it.
Yeah.
So.
That's good.
I think you don't know until you like get somewhere like
hindsight it's like what is it, hindsight's 2020, is that what it's called?
Like more deep quotes.
More deep quotes from us. If you didn't go to uni, would you have gone to UMass Amherst?
Probably that, other than like the waitlisted schools I had, that was the only other school that I had like gotten into. So I probably would have gone there, which to think of that, like to think of like how different my life would have been.
That's what I always think about.
It's so crazy. But I feel like I think of that about like every aspect of your life. Like if you didn't do this, if you didn't do that.
Happens for a reason.
Right. Honestly. I try not to think about it in the sense that like, I don't know, like I don't want to like think about another life that's not going to happen. And that's not mine. So I think but occasionally I'm like, what if I did go there? Like I wouldn't have these friends. I wouldn't know these people. Yeah. But
it's okay to ask that though. You can wonder. But
did you apply to Quinnipiac like initially?
I did not.
Yeah. That's funny.
Quinnipiac, I didn't even know what Quinnipiac was. And then when like both Maddie and Bethany I went to high school with them, and then we're both really close with both of them, and they both were going there, and I didn't even like look it up, like what is Quinnipiac? And then I don't even know. It was just like
it's a Native American tribe.
Yeah, like I don't even know how I came about visiting here, but I was just like, hey, I'm coming for Halloween because we're not doing anything.
Yeah.
And then
your roommate was visiting Sacred Heart, and that's on the way. Yes. I remember that whole thing.
And then she almost left me here. She started driving back to my school, and she was gonna leave me.
Yeah, we were sleeping in Lauren's bed. We can talk about this. We were sleeping in Lauren's bed, and you were charging your phone on the ground.
Yes.
And I remember Sam, your sister, texted me and was like, "Is Sabrina awake? Like, where is she?" And we wake up at like 1 p.m. and we see that your roommate was like all halfway past Quinnipiac.
Yeah, so she actually just like she had
left.
a fight and with her like boyfriend at the time, so she just left and just decided she wasn't gonna stop at Quinnipiac and pick me up. And what to do? So I had to call her and be like, girl, what the fuck? And I was like, come back. So then she did, and she was pissed at me. But also like
it's a long drive.
But yeah, like I didn't have a car. Like what was I gonna do?
I think she was like 45 minutes past. 45 minutes
it was
past
like 35
by the time we woke up.
But also it was like not even the time that she said she was gonna pick me up. That's why the whole thing.
Yeah.
Like I wasn't being the bad friend. Like she was. Yeah. So then she picked me up, and it was a silent car ride back.
Yeah, I remember I walked you over to Hogan, and she like whipped in the parking lot,
and she
stared at me. You went in and then left, and I was like, all right, bye.
And then she came back.
Yeah, and now you're back. And wherever the freak she is, she's whatever she's doing. Right back to kind of transferring after you transferred. Was there a moment where you were like, wait, did I make the right choice?
I think maybe in the beginning, also I had a little bit of roommate trouble here. So I think maybe that made me like regret it didn't make me regret anything. I just kind of was like, okay, this wouldn't be happening if I was at my old school. But also like I would probably be 10 times more miserable there.
Yeah.
And then also my whole friend group decided to study abroad for the fall, which I wouldn't have been able to do. So I was
back
like
at UNE?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
So that also kind of like made me like I would have been by myself.
Yeah.
So it also kind of helped.
Yeah.
But then, I ended up switching rooms my spring semester. But even in the fall, like I made more friends in class. And I think it's just kind of like got in the groove of like how Quinnipiac works. Like give it like a month, I think.
I feel like you got in the groove really fast.
Yeah. And I think it definitely was like, okay, like I felt like I went here. For a while, I did say though, like I don't even go here. Like I would just repeat that over. I would be like, it doesn't matter. I don't go here. Because I just really didn't feel like I felt like a visitor.
So, and I know you came in here already knowing me and Bethany, and then like also my friends and Bethany's friends, because you had visited here. Making new friends in your classes, it's already hard. Like, how did you start over socially, like disregarding the people you already knew?
I love to talk. So when I'm in class, and also I have a lot of labs, like my major is so many labs. So then honestly, like some people are just like, they don't want to talk. Like 8 a.m. lab, they don't want to talk. But me, I get in there, put my bag down. I gotta turn around and be like, what is going on? So I don't know, like, and I feel like my friends, like, they were definitely like kind of quiet at first, but then I would just turn around, and I'll tell you anything. Like, I just turn around and talk about my day. They don't know any of these people. I'm gonna tell you the story anyway. And then eventually it was like, okay, and I was like, all right, let me get your number. Like, we need to text about this project, this, that, and the other. Yeah. And then it just turns into like, oh, let's go get lunch. And I don't know, I'm not like embarrassed to do that. Like, if you're
very proactive, because I feel that like you thrive in like you got to do that.
Yeah, so then it would just be like, oh, like, let's go to the dining hall and get lunch. Then you get lunch, and then you start, like, actually hanging out outside of class, and it's like, oh, we're kind of friends now.
Yeah, good friend. That's awesome, though, because I know you're saying, like, at UNE, like, it was hard because a lot of people were introverted, but, like, here,
I mean, and it's hard to describe introverted. Like, it was, like, I would talk to them, and they would, like, turn around. like, I would talk to them, and they would be like, okay. And then that was, like, it. And then I was like, oh. So, like, it was kind of like...
this happened to me for 4 years.
Yeah, so it was kind of like that. But here, it's like it's okay to be introverted, but like being introverted and antisocial, that's when there's a problem. But I think also in class, like I definitely have a lot of acquaintances, like people that I don't hang out with, but I would consider like my like friendly. I'm friends with them. Yeah. But I feel like it's kind of like you have to do that. Like you have to just like talk to everyone and know everyone, because you never know what opportunities like you're gonna meet. Like they're just gonna connections. Like that's what it is.
Networking. Yes. Every episode we talk about networking.
No, actually, because like it's actually so cool just talking to people. Like
I'm
like I would consider myself super extroverted, but like I like to talk. Like I low-key thrive, I feel like, off of like initial conversations. Yeah. And I just love like meeting new people. Like when people, I don't know, I just love meeting new people. It's so fun.
No, I agree.
Is there anything you wish people understood about transferring schools? Like, is there anything no one really talks about?
I don't know. Like, if you have a gut feeling, just do it. I feel like it's just like there's this big thing where it's like, oh, like, I don't know, like, it's weird if you transfer schools or you didn't give the school enough time or, like, you lose all your financial aid or this, that, and the other. But, like, if you are going to be unhappy and there's, like, a good chance, like, a pretty good chance, just do it. Like, I don't know. That was so hard for me because then it was like telling people, I feel like telling people that I transferred, it seems like no one thinks that, but like, I don't know. I just like, you feel like people are going to look at you weird, or like people are going to look at you like, oh, I don't know that girl. She's weird.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't know. And even like to my, like telling people in my family, like, oh, I transferred. Then they're like, what was wrong with the school? And they try and make it like a you problem.
We know someone who goes there. Like,
And that's very much how like my mom is. And like she knows someone who went there. They loved it. And it's okay. Like I'm sure people love that school. Yeah. But also
my cousin transferred out.
Of UNE?
I know 20 people in my grade that transferred out.
Holy crap.
Like people that I personally know.
Wow. And this is a small school.
Yeah, that is a small school.
Speaking of gut feelings, my freshman year suite mate transferred out after 2 days.
Holy crap.
Like, gut feeling.
I mean, if that's how you feel, like go.
Honestly, I think it was just before like you had to pay. And it was like, I have this feeling.
Yeah.
Go.
And I think that's just it. Like, it's like, I mean, obviously, you're never going to not care what other people think. Like, I don't care what people say, like, oh, you just can't care. Like, you're never going to not. People's opinions are always going to matter. But, like, at the end of the day, you just, like, college is supposed to be your experience. So you quite literally have to do it for you. Because if you're going to college for someone else, then, like, what are you doing here? Mm-hmm. Like, I don't know.
Just to wrap up, kind of just in general, what's one thing that right now that you're excited about, even if it's uncertain?
I think the most exciting thing about being like pre-med is like getting to medical school. Like I'm so nervous for like that whole process, but also like I think that's like so exciting because then I'm gonna,
it's so rewarding after.
Yes, and I just think it's like something with like my major compared to like nursing or even like other majors that actually get to like dip their toes into like what's going on like through clinicals or even like media stuff where you guys get to like do that. My major, like BMS and even the pre-med, is just a lot of like classes. It's courses, classes, and labs. Like you do get to do pretty cool stuff, but not really like in the sense of like working in a hospital helping people unless you get like a outside job. Yeah. But I think like actually like starting that and like that's like the most exciting thing because it's just like it feels real. Like and it feels like you're actually like gonna be an adult and have a real profession. And like, I don't know, it's just the start of something real, I guess.
Yeah, for sure.
No, that's awesome.
Well, thank you, Sabrina, for joining us today and talking about transferring, because I know transferring is obviously pretty daunting, but if you're thinking about transferring, words by Sabrina, do it. Just do it. Just do it.
Just do it.
Thank you guys for listening to Lost in the Sauce.
We'll be back next week with more real conversations about figuring it out. Whatever it is.